Hello everybody, welcome back and welcome to a book review that I never ever imagined I'd be giving. It is a book review on the Meaning of Mariah Carey, which was Mariah Carey's autobiography that she published during the pandemic. Now, the reason why I'm really focusing on the fact that it was published in the pandemic is I think had it not been for the pandemic, I'm not sure I ever would have read this, despite actually being a big Mariah Carey fan, certainly of her later work. The reason why I think the pandemic was important is the pandemic affected a lot of the publishing cycle. So some big name books were moved back, they were rushed out sort of in windows in between lockdowns. And so certain books sort of lost a momentum and lost their place in the calendar. And when Mariah Carey's book therefore came out, it sort of had quite a empty field to play with because there weren't many other books being published at that time, and it had quite a bit of PR, particularly from the woman herself. And also at the time, because of the pandemic and the various lockdowns we had in the UK, I think I had been in a particularly stale frame of mind. I was quite bored. I hadn't been reading for a while. I was almost too tired, too lethargic to pick up any book that I thought might have weighty themes or gravitas. Sorry, Mariah. So I decided, I'll read Mariah Carey's autobiography. Maybe that will get me in the groove, because I often like non-fiction, particularly biography and autobiography. And I thought, well, this will be a way to get back in. This book is actually very good. It's very good. And it's good for two reasons. One, it is Mariah's truth. She is extremely honest about her experiences from childhood, difficult mother, absent father, drug-addicted sister, violent brother, through to an abusive marriage, all of which undermines the image that she has deliberately conveyed at times of a diva, of being indulged, princess mentality, and brings to mind someone that has really gone through it. It makes her very human. The second bit of why I really like this book has a lot to do with actually the co-writer, Michaela Davis. Credit should go to her, because she has really conveyed Mariah's mannerisms and language in the writing of this book. So you know Mariah can be sort of like, okay, like, I don't want a drama, no drama, okay, and people think I'm a princess, like, whatever, not you, okay? We all know that's how Mariah can be. That is exactly how passages in this book go. So you have a great sense of Mariah talking to you and just going, I'm just saying. There's a bit of shade, particularly at Celine Dion, but there's also some really interesting observations to make, two of which I really wanted to share. Firstly, I hadn't appreciated the extent to which God and Christianity play such an important, pivotal part in Mariah's life. I know Mariah's later albums, and she does have occasional read John chapter verse, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, she really does hold on to certain quotes from the Bible and really keeps them with her, uses them as sources of strength and reflection. She talks a bit about a pastor that's a pivotal person in her life. And secondly, she's also extremely revealing about the extent to which her songs are autobiographical. And why that's interesting is a lot of her biggest material she wrote during her marriage with Tommy Mottola, which was an abusive, coercive control relationship where Tommy was all-consuming, all-controlling on Mariah's life, her appearance, etc., etc. Now, she had some romantic entanglement, shall we say, during her period with Tommy Mottola while she was still married. And the verses that she's written, and some of which she shares here, were specific references to interludes, romantic moments that she had with these other men who briefly came into her life while she was still married. But she still has the courage to write a song about these people, or about this particular moment in time, or about this moment on the rooftop, or whatever. And it is a very literal description of what her feelings were, what happened. And she writes about that even though she's still married. Brave. So there's some lovely moments in here where she brings out verses, sections of her music, and shares with them, the reader, the inspiration and the source behind some specific lyrics. She's also, as you can imagine, as any good celebrity autobiography, It's got some candid photos for fans. I enjoyed this book, and it did get me back into the writing groove. So I have to commend both Mariah for her honesty and the ghostwriter Michaela for her ability to convey Mariah's language and tone in it. It kind of stops at the end of her marriage from Tony. There's sort of this little addendum about, oh yeah, I had 2 kids, isn't it canon? And yeah, there was that disastrous New Year's Eve party, but everyone wants to remind me about it, even though I've got this massive career, blah, blah, blah. No mention. And then the book sort of abruptly ends. So this is really a reflection, Mariah reflecting on her formative years. So don't expect any recent sensational gossip about other stars or the past 10 years. It really is a kind of Mariah's opportunity to untangle her emotions and her experiences from her childhood and her younger years as an emerging artist. I really enjoyed this. Surprising cover though. Wouldn't have picked this as a cover. Not the best picture I've ever seen of Mariah. Surprising pick. But I love this pic of Mariah as a young kid on the back. I think that's beautiful. This should have been the cover image. Okay, The Meaning of Mariah Carey by Mariah and Michaela, Angela Davis. An enjoyable read. A very enjoyable read.